Professor, if you want to just wrap up your thoughts with a thought that Natasha had brought up earlier in terms of the Australian Trade Minister had spoken about when he was in the US, the USTR was in touch with him, the UK counterparts, Canada counterparts. Is there a template that can be followed, or if not necessarily straitjacketed, but things that were problems before and have been resolved here? Can India hold them out? The US, the UK, Canada, everyone else say, see, this can be done.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest signal, because I saw commentators from UK say, oh, the biggest thing about this deal is that India signed it. That India is such a reluctant deal maker that to get India to actually sign off on a bilateral trade agreement is an achievement by itself. And this does serve as a model or as a template. Of course, circumstances are different, economies are different, but certainly with countries with which you also share other things. For instance, Israel, UAE, Canada, UK. I mean, I know the External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar, spoke about how the 5 relationships which have transformed during the Modi years are Japan, Australia, UAE, Israel, and of course the United States. And if you add UK and Canada to them, and you can see that while strategically there is a greater closeness and convergence, if you could actually give these relationships more economic depth, then there would be a momentum which would be far greater than what could be provided only through the political convergences. So yes, this is a signaling that India is ready to sign on to deals, even though it's not patently obvious that there are, as Salvatore said, there are huge gains, but I believe that there are huge gains, and that it is willing to actually compromise in certain sectors if need be, and that these deals are fully compliance with WTO rules and guidelines and GATT rules, which regarding free trade deals. And while India might be still uncomfortable with sub-regional multilateral economic arrangements which are dominated by one big power, because obviously your influence to be able to negotiate an agreement in a multilateral framework where you are not the dominant partner is much lesser. Therefore, India values a bilateral deal much more. It's important now for other countries to pick on this momentum. Australia has shown the way. It's for others now to see this as a window open or a door open and walk into it.
Natasha, Govind thanks you for your last comprehensive answer. But if you want to just wrap up your thoughts on this particular episode.
Thanks, Amitabh. And I would say that, I'll go back to from where we started about Prime Minister Modi's visit to Australia in 2014 after a gap of 28 years, and where he announced, in the joint session of Parliament in Canberra that Australia was no longer at the periphery of India's vision, but at the center of its thoughts. And seems like that's turning into a reality now in terms of engagement that's happening across different sectors. And being part of the Australian Indian diaspora, I would say that the diaspora is also equally, excited and enthusiastic about engaging. Australia has also released a categorical diaspora report to identify and map the diaspora potential, because there's this clear understanding that the network skills and capabilities that the diaspora can bring to Australia to really take this relationship to the next level is of great use, and that's something which needs to be harnessed. So diaspora diplomacy is another component of this relationship which is being explored at a big level. But overall, the key message, I would say, Amitabh, is that not to look at this relationship from a buyer-supplier partnership, from a buyer-supplier viewpoint. It has to be capacity-driven. It has to be from a model where Australia offers a development anchor kind of a model for India, which is aspirational, which is growing, and is looking for partnerships, not just for a basic, a trade engagement. And that sort of shift, I would say, is happening with all the energy which we are seeing around.